I'm a big fan of WordPress. I've got a handful of blogs running it, and almost all of my clients I have set up with WordPress, probably 95%. There's a few companies that don't need a blog, but virtually all should for different reasons. That includes, businesses, real estate, schools, churches, whatever. And WordPress, typically installing WordPress on your server is the best way to go. But some people get a little intimidated, not sure how to do that. So we're going to go start to finish here and install WordPress from scratch. So all this is going to assume is that you have a web space set up somewhere. I have HostGator I use. Bluehost would be similar. A lot of hosts would be very similar to this. I'm going to assume you have that, and that's really about it. And we're going to go start to finish here in just a few minutes to show you how easy this is. So the first thing we need to do is go to our control panel. And I'm going to show you where I'm going to do this. This is micmail.com/testblog. We'll get that set up there. Right now you can see there's nothing there. So we'll go to micmail.com. And a lot of times you do :2082, but when you set up your account, they should tell you how to get to the control panel. And so we'll log into our control panel here. Yours should look something like this. I don't need the getting started here. In here you'll have one called MySQL Databases. So we just need to set up a blank database for the site. So we'll click on that. New database, and we'll just call it WP Test for WordPress Test. So create it. There's our database. That was easy enough. Then we need to create a user account and then give that account access to it. So we'll go ahead and create a user called WP Test with the password. You won't be able to see it anyhow, I guess. Well, here, we'll do just 12345. 345. All right, so create that user, WP Test, password 12345. And then the last step in here is to give that user access to that database. So we want the user micmail WP Test to be able to access the database micmail WP Test. So give them rights to it. And we want to give it all privileges so that user can do everything on it. So we'll make changes. Cool. So we're done with control panel. The database is created. It's blank, which is fine. That's all we need for now. So now we're on WordPress.org. So we'll go ahead and download the current version of WordPress. And I'm going to do this all in real time here so you can see what happens. And we won't take any shortcuts. It's still only going to take a few minutes. So, and there we go. So there's WordPress. Let's open up this file. So there's inside of it's just a WordPress folder. So we'll just kind of drag that out of there, copy it onto our desktop. You can see here it's copying over. And all right, there we go. So we can close that. So now we have this WordPress folder. Let's open it up. There's not a whole lot we need to do in here. One thing we need is this config file. It's called WP config sample. We need to rename it to just WP config. They name it differently so that way if you upgrade later, it doesn't overwrite the config file you have. And then we need to edit this file. I use a program called Notepad++, but Notepad will work or WordPad will work. Most any plain text editing program will be fine. And in here, there's just a few things to change. The database name, remember, was micmail WP Test. The username was micmail WP Test. Now, remember, this is a database name and a username. We happen to name them the same, which probably isn't a great idea, but it's fine. The password we set is 12345. You can leave these alone, and then down here are these phrases that you need to make unique, just kind of a third level of security. Not super important, but they do things to make things as secure as they can be. So I usually just throw in some extra letters just to make it something unique. All right, and that's all we need to do there. So let's close and save that file. All right, we'll close that. Now we go to our FTP software. I use one called FileZilla. It's free. Most any FTP software would be fine, though. I'm going to assume you can go in here and set up your account. Again, they'll send FTP credentials to you when you set up your new hosting account with whoever. So go and get that set up in here. And so we'll go ahead and connect to micmail. And now I can't remember, we said it was going to be in the test blog folder. Okay. So in here we'll go into public HTML. Most hosts, that's where they'll put it. And then we'll right click, create a directory called test blog. Alright, so let's go down into that directory. And then here on my desktop, we have our folder called WordPress. So let's go into there And so here's all the files, including that config file we worked on, and here's where they need to go. So we'll just Control A, select them all, however you want to do that, and just drag them over. And this will take a sec, but again, I want to do this in real time. I don't want to skip any steps here, so we'll just sit here and watch it count down. FileZilla is cool because it can upload. It does like 5 at a time if we were to stretch this up. It's working on multiple files at once rather than doing just one at a time, so it really can zip right through them. You can set it to be even higher, but bog yourself down a little bit. But 400 left. And in the threes. And we're just about done. Later, if you want to install any themes too, you do it through FileZilla. You can go in and upload the theme files. That would be a video for another day. We're just trying to get you from nothing to a blog in just a few minutes here. I think hopefully we can finish in under 10 minutes. So we'll see. And there are ways, a lot of hosts will let you automatically install WordPress through the control panel. My only hesitation with that is they handle it different. It can be harder to get in if you need to make changes to it, upgrade, that kind of thing. This way you know exactly where the files are. You put them there. Much easier to make changes down the road. So there we go. We're all uploaded. So let's go back out to, now if we go to micmail.com/testblog, we'll run that again, and it takes us to the installation screen. Okay, so the title is, and then test blog. You can choose a username for yourself. You got to set a password for yourself. And whatever you set this to, this is the administrator account. Set your email. Let's do that. Allow it to appear in Google stuff. Typically, you would want that. Let's go ahead and install it. And that's it. It's installed. So now we can log in. And there we go. We're done. And now you're in your normal WordPress control panel. And there's a lot of steps you can do next, but at the core of it, if you go to micmail.com/testblog, there's our blog up and running. So that's 0 to WordPress in about 7 minutes there. So not too bad. It really is very powerful and very easy. Give it a shot yourself on your site, and if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks.